Welcome back to The Explainer. So look, if you're tuning in right now, chances are you've already done the really hard part. You've built your budget, you've combed through your finances, and you finally found that extra 20% left over at the end of the month. And honestly, that is a massive win. But I've got to give you a quick warning here. If you just leave that 20% sitting idle in a basic checking account, you are literally letting inflation eat it alive. Today, we're breaking down Money Simplified, saving strategies. We're going to look at exactly where to put your money so it actually grows. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our structured blueprint for today. First, a mindset shift. Second, the mathematical saving models. Third, auditing those money leaks. And finally, fixing those leaks for good. Starting off with Section 1, Mindset Shift. We are redefining exactly how we build wealth. Now, before we look at any numbers, we have to establish what saving actually is. Too many people think saving is just this passive act of hiding money away, right? Like stuffing cash under a mattress. But it's really not. Saving is an active, highly structural process of building. And that brings us to our core philosophy for today. Saving isn't hoarding. Saving is delaying spending to win later. You aren't restricting yourself today just to be miserable. No way. You're actively choosing to win in the future. You are buying yourself security, options, and totally unbothered freedom. So the crucial point is 3 to 6. Before you even think about investing in the stock market or, saving for that luxury vacation, your absolute foundation has to be an emergency fund covering 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. I literally cannot stress this enough. Nothing else matters until this exists. This is your financial bedrock. Because here's a direct, no-nonsense warning. If you have no emergency fund, you are exactly one accident away from debt. Without this safety net, a single unexpected event, a popped tire, a weird medical bill, your water heater suddenly giving out, will plunge you straight into high-interest credit card debt. And that undoes all your hard work. So build the safety net first. Moving into Section 2, the saving models. Let's look at your architectural blueprints. And this brilliantly illustrates our first model, which is absolutely perfect for a standard income. It's a really precise breakdown. Basically, you allocate 70% of your income strictly for essentials, so housing, food, utilities. Then 10% goes directly into investing, and that remaining 20%, that gets divided up among your financial goals, your emergency fund, personal growth, and charity. It essentially gives every single dollar a very specific job. Now, what if your income is a bit tighter? Look, life is expensive, and sometimes capping essentials at 70% just isn't realistic. So here is the second model. 80% goes to your essentials, 5% goes to investing, and the final 15% covers your emergency fund, growth, and charity. So you see, the percentages shift, but the structured blueprint itself remains totally intact. But regardless of which mathematical model actually fits your life right now, there is an unbreakable rule that governs both of them. Save first, spend what's left, not the reverse. If you just wait around to save whatever happens to be left over at the end of the month, I can guarantee you there's going to be absolutely nothing left. You've got to structurally allocate your savings the very second you get paid. All right, Section 3, the money leaks. It is time to audit your financial habits. Let's move to and see how this builds. Actually, I'm issuing a high-tension warning right now. We're about to look at some seriously destructive financial behaviors, and I want you to be completely honest with yourself here. How many of these belong to you? Leak number 1, always buying new. If you constantly buy brand new cars, brand new tech, or brand new clothes instead of keeping what you have or just buying used, your money is draining so fast. And leak number 2 is FOMO spending. Handing over your hard-earned cash purely out of the fear of missing out on an event or some fleeting trend. Hitting the next 2 rapidly, we have leaks 3 and 4. Constantly eating out is this massive compounding cost that eats away at your wealth faster than almost anything else. And leak 4 is the silent killer, unused subscriptions. Those $5, $10, or $15 monthly charges for apps or streaming services you haven't even opened in months, they're totally invisible, but they drain your accounts nonstop. Finally, we have the last 2 destructive habits. Leak 5 is carrying credit card debt. The crippling interest rates on those cards will absolutely obliterate your ability to save. And leak 6 is what I call the treat trap. Telling yourself, oh, I deserve a little treat every single day. Listen, those $5 coffees and $10 snacks literally add up to thousands of dollars over a year. So, to summarize this entire audit, These aren't expenses, they're leaks. And leaks sink ships. You really have to understand that these 6 behaviors aren't just normal, unavoidable costs of living. They are deep structural flaws that are actively destroying your wealth from the inside out. Which brings us to section 4, fixing the leaks. Let's get to some tools for immediate action. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the contrast. Let's pivot the energy here. Take a breath. We've identified the tension, but here is the empowering relief. We're going to look at immediate tools you can use right now to permanently plug these drains. Look at the stark contrast here. Deprivation versus moderation. Total deprivation is a toxic, failing mindset. Honestly, if you cut out absolutely everything you love, you'll eventually snap and go on a massive binge spending spree. The sustainable, empowering reality is moderation. Cut ruthlessly on the things you really don't care about so you can spend moderately on the things you actually do. Here are your next actionable fixes. First up, remember your path isn't theirs. Stop comparing your lifestyle to your neighbors or to strangers on social media. Second, do not borrow to consume. Avoid consumer debt entirely. If you can't pay cash for a luxury, you just can't afford it yet. Third, aggressively cancel all those services you don't use. Just cut them. And finally, go play offense. Focus on growing your income. Start a side hustle, skill up in your career, or walk in there and negotiate a raise. And I want to reassure you about something. Just $10. You absolutely do not need thousands of dollars in the bank to start building wealth. You do not need to be rich to start saving. The single most important thing is simply starting today, even if it is literally just $10 a week. That $10 builds the habit, and the habit is what eventually builds the wealth. So here is your final actionable checklist. I am handing you the literal blueprint to completely automate your wealth accumulation. Step 1, open a dedicated high-yield savings account. Step 2, set up an automatic transfer for payday. The moment your paycheck hits, your savings percentage moves instantly. Step 3, forget it even exists. Just let it happen completely out of sight, because that is how you build wealth without even having to think about it. I want to end today's explainer by asking you this highly provocative question. What is your biggest money leak, and what step will you take to plug it today? Don't just listen to this explainer and scroll away. Take one specific action right now to protect your wealth. And get ready, because in our next explainer, we are covering the debt-free life, and we're breaking down the snowball method to help you crush that debt forever. See you then.